Hi everyone, so today I'll continue working with this new Spellbinders collection. It's the Tab Classics by Wendy Vecchi. I think last time I said Vecchio. There's no O, so there you go. I made a card with some of the items, but I do want to bring back this 3D embossing folder for a background for today's card. And we're going to work with this embossing folder. Again, it's 3D embossing folder that does like this little bouquet or separate little flowers with the word thank you. And then there's a die set that goes along with that. And also a stencil. Like I said, they have on Spellbinders there a bundle. I don't know if it's sold out right now. It's sold out pretty quickly because they're not going to sell the stencil by itself. So hopefully those are back in stock, or if you picked it up, this video will help you out. And then probably a sentiment from here. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll use the thank you. We'll see. But I will say these items were sent free of charge for my review. And of course, all opinions are my own. And the links I have in the description box will be affiliate links for the US and the UK through Spellbinders. And that will mean I'll make a small collection. What am I going to say? I'll make a small commission if you're going to purchase items through those links. So thanks for using those. I super appreciate it. So we'll get right to it. I'm going to do an A2 size card, but you can pop this on anything. I will say this larger die. I don't know if I gave you guys that info in the original video. It is like 4 1/4, you know, from there to this piece here, by just over 4 inches. So you can definitely put this in, you know, a smaller-ish machine with that largest, but you're going to need a machine that can accommodate this guy. So this 3D embossing folder is 5 3/4 by 8 3/4 and embosses an area like generally like these guys that's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. But of course you're going to put your paper wherever it is that you want here. We'll talk about that in a moment. We have the stencil. I think, let me get some paper down. I think we'll use white paper. A lot of times I'll use like a cream colored paper or a light color, maybe even like a green paper, very light colors. And you can still, you know, ink them up and do all that fun stenciling. But today I'll probably use white. So I want another piece of cardstock here. And you know, I used blue in the last video, but the blue is so pretty. Like this color blue. It's kind of a, with a cornflower. I'll still use blue today too. Why not? So I'm gonna grab this guy. Just a soft color like for fall, you know, because the way it's kind of muted, I like that. And let me bring this down just a little bit. 4 1/8, because I do want a matte layer look, by 5 3/8. And then last time I used this kind of like little floral posy design. This time I'll run it through the little dots here. And so I'm just gonna set that in there and try to put that in here evenly. I did cut this down. It's not completely 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I'm just trying to make sure that I have it spaced out evenly left and right, up and down. 3D folder, so I'm going to use my Spellbinders machine. I can do the universal plates. It's the A plate and the adapter, okay? But I'll be right back. Oh, here. You know, I will say, obviously, if you're getting this, it comes with the dies because it's a cut and emboss folder. So it's going to come with these things. It's a bundle when it comes with the stencil, right? Otherwise, it's always going to be that. Otherwise, this doesn't mean anything if you don't have the dies, right? Okay, look how cute that is. Okay, and then the deboss side, really fun too. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down here, and I'll grab some white cardstock so we can start our stenciling. I don't really know what colors I'll need for this, but I just grabbed some more like fall colors, like some orange and yellows. And then we'll see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 stencils in this set, which is really nice. So we have a couple different florals. Well, I guess we'll just start. So I have this piece of cardstock. I haven't cut down anything on it yet. It looks like this is going to be exactly A2 on the registration lines, but I'll just always line up this top corner and leave it at that. Okay. And if you have a grip mat, of course, great time to use it. And if I'm going to go with oranges, let's do that. And sorry, I hadn't grabbed any. Anything to help me do this. Well used, as you can see there. I think these are all flowers. Let's look at this guy. So it's these guys plus these little side ones. So maybe the little side ones, are they the same flower, or would you say those are different? They look a little slightly different, but I think they're all the same. Okay, so I'm just going to start with a lighter orange color. It's very light, guys, so I'm going to have to work that up. I think there's only, or there are only two colors of this, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm trying to make it a little bit darker just because I did start off very light. So there's stencil 1. And then two. Again, I'm just lining up that corner. So 2. And that helps me out, but then of course as I'm looking at it, if I need to make any little minor adjustments here and there, I'll do that. So this is a little bit deeper color. Yeah, because the next one has centers and some other stuff. Okay. So a little deeper. I'm not going to go super, super dark. This one's also a slightly different tone of orange, I want to say, so that's fine. I'm going to re-ink a lot of my ink pads. I'm going to try to leave it a little bit rough. I try not to just completely saturate everything. Okay, so that was the second one. The third one, number 3 there. Let's line that up again. It looks like we have some centers. Hold on. And some petals and some greenery, maybe. If that's the case, I think, well, let's see. Looking at this again, to me that looks like another petal, right? But it could be like the greenery coming up into the flower. That's interesting. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Sorry, guys. Let's see. That's greenery. I might do something different for those. Okay. So if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to go to a smaller way of applying the color. I put these oranges to the side. I'm going to use little finger daubers. This totally fell out of my hand the other day and they fell behind something, so I lost all these, and they're not lost. I just have to grab them and I'm like, there's just, forget it. So, okay. Greenery. I'll just use like this kind of medium color green. Goes in here. All right. I don't want to make it too dark. It looks like there are some leaves up here. I don't have the carrier sheet, so I don't really have an image of what this stuff looks like. That's why I'm kind of making my choices. Yours, of course, will be packaged nicely. I have samples, so they're nothing much going on here. Actually, I should pull up the item examples, right? Like the actual link, and then I can see kind of what we're looking at. But I'm going to get this and centers, and I'm going to do yellow centers, and if there's another darker accent, that's fine, but for right now I'll start with this yellow. Center here, here. I don't know why I put the orange ones away because I need them back for this. So just a little something there. And then with the orange, I'm going to go back to the lightest orange that I used initially. I don't know. Which is this one here. It's a little darker. And finish those two. Okay, so that's the third layer. Very cute. Fourth layer here. And again, if I line up that corner and just make sure everything else is in place as I place them. That doesn't look quite right. Hold on. That part's good. This fits perfectly. There we go. I was like, something was off over here. It's a very interesting little design. So again, green or something for these calyxes, right? I want to see if there's any other, okay. So I did yellow centers earlier. I'm going to get a little bit closer for you guys. See right here, there's a center and there's a center. And I did yellow, so I'll just go ahead and use that same yellow for in here. Another flower petal here, which, let's see. I think it's the light color. So it's this one. Or at least I think it should be. So I'm going to go in there with the lighter. Even though at this point, since I've mixed them up, it's probably a darker color from whatever was on here before. Okay, and now greenery. And I will use a different color green than I did initially. So, maybe this one. Usually when you're doing this, you go light to dark. Now this one isn't really about being light or darker. It's just a different part of that little fern look. So it doesn't really matter. But whatever you like. Try to get this little bit here. Okay. A little tiny piece right there. There we go. Okay, that is 4. This is 5, and 5 has some petals again, the very background bits of petals there. Try and line this up, sorry. Yeah, that doesn't look lined up quite right. There we go. There it is. Okay. Okay, so again, these petals would be the darker of the orange that I used earlier. I guess, because I used lighter in the last one, right? So we're going back a little bit. Again, let me try to pat this off. Okay. And just get a little bit of that in there, and a little bit here. I don't think that's the flower center. Yeah, it looks like it's petals. They just turn sideways, so they look a little different. Okay, so we have that. And then greenery again. Actually, it's the stems. So, I mean, if you want to go back to the original green you used, a darker green, you know, which is what I'm thinking. I think this green has a little blue to it, though, but that's all right. So, let me grab that guy. Just kind of get some color in here. Oh, you know, I missed one more petal right there. Sorry. Just going to use the same green. Dip it in here. It doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to get greenery on here. And I still have orange on here, I'm sure. This last little petal right here. Okay. So this one's a little interesting because it is jumping back and forth a bit. But I'm sure there's a reason for that. And then this is the last one, number 6. And this one adds more greenery to like that little fern-looking flower. And let me just make sure that's lined up nicely. That looks pretty good. Oh, yeah, that's it. So I'll use the darker green on this one. Ooh, okay. I was gonna say I didn't put the lid back on the other one, but I already know that one's for the darker one. See how this green has like a blue cast to it? I don't know. Oh, and then the very center of the flowers also. So we did the greenery. And one last thing. The very center of the flowers. And I'll just take a little... Just a little deeper orange. And that is what I came up with today. So that's what that looks like. If you want to mix and match a little brown in there, that'd be cute. Maybe some brown leaves. I'm going to clean up a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this down. Now, I mean, honestly, the stencils could stand on their own. But again, they're not selling them just by themselves. We have this guy. We have the extra flowers. Very cute. I like the way they did that. And actually, I mean, they have the flower for here. They have the one for this part. So if you want to do like a little more 3D effect aside from this, you can definitely do that, right? Let's see how this goes. Right down in here. So, I mean, if you wanted to make this a card topper without cutting it out, I suppose you could, but you want to ignore, like, avoid that piece, you know? It probably wouldn't be that easy, but for now what I'm going to do is take this and just line it up. I'm looking at the color and where they fit, you know, along here. I mean, they have it all the way down to the lines, right? So I'm really paying attention to that. Hopefully it doesn't shift too much, but you know, this is the first time trying this guy out, so we will see. Holding that nice and tight. I assume it's going to be the same thing with the A plate and the adapter. Oh, sorry, I'm still pretty close up here. I don't see why it wouldn't be. It's a 3D embossing folder. And let's run it through and cross our fingers because it's first time using this. And again, it does have the little lettering for thank you. You don't have a stencil for the thank you. I will say if you see an example that says thank you, but it looks like it has color, what they did was they inked it up so that, I'll talk about it in a minute. Let me show you what I mean. Oh, how pretty. Oh my gosh, you guys, look how cute those ones. I'm telling you, Spellbinders knocks it out of the park with these things. Look at this. That's the back side of it. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, let me say what I was saying. I think what you'd want to do is like ink around here. But there's going to be different ways to play with it. So that when you run it through and it has a thing, it'll get like some ink around the edges, you know? Something to think about. I don't know. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's our card base back. And then this pretty thing. Oh yeah, I love those colors together. It's just so cute. I mean, it can be down here. You know, it can be right in the middle. It could be something like this. Oh, maybe we do that. I wasn't planning on that. And then the sentiment over here. Okay, sounds good. I'm just going to glue this down. So, full disclosure, this glue has been giving me problems because it kept stopping up. So I took this off and I rinsed it out and now it's completely good. There was like a chunk of glue stuck down in there. But when it was off, I was like, oh, I just put some glue while the lid was completely off this part. And I just put way too much glue. So as you can see, it kind of like made the paper react. So that's why it's like bent. It is. But now see how nice and clear this is, ready to go. Whenever you have glue and it really just keeps stopping up, what I do is I would recommend, again, taking the whole lid off. Just pull that nib out and wash it because it's just going to keep doing it until you get rid of whatever is stopping it up in there. Even if you poke it with a pin or a needle, it still will keep doing it. Okay, I'm gonna hold this down, and actually I'm probably gonna put something heavy on top for a moment, and while that's sitting on there, I suppose I can use this paper. Well, okay, I was debating if I should stamp it in white paper or not. I don't know what I used. Did I use this last time I made the card? I might have, because I really want to use this. Just I made this for you. Like, why not? So, I'm just debating, oopsie, if I'm going to stamp it. Oh, that's right. And the last time I did use a larger sentiment because I used some of the words, right? Like right here. We were neighbors, I wish, or whatever kind of things you were putting together there. Yeah, I'll just use I made this for you. And I guess I'll cut it out just out of... I'm trying to debate if I should just use white paper because there's a lot of white paper, right? But that's okay. It'll look real crisp and clean. So I'm just going to stamp down white paper and then line this up. And you already know I can't just go and do that because I always feel like I have to show you everything. So let me move this over here. Let me put this here. Let me put some weight on this. I can see that that was still not quite touching every area. And... this guy. I use some VersaFine. And these are photopolymer stamps. Oop, I might have moved that. Let's see what it looks like. I feel like when I put it down, I went like this. Yeah, something wasn't quite clear on that one. Do that again. There we go. Ooh, perfect. Okay. And then we take this guy and we can run it through. I'll be very careful because I literally just stamped that. I can see pretty well up and down. That's probably about where I want that to be. Always put at least a couple pieces of tape because you don't want that to move on you. And I'll run that through and I'll be right back. Okay, I think that should be enough time. Check this puppy out. So pretty. I love the colors on that. Okay, so I made this for you. I think what I'll do is put a little bit of dimension on the back of this little side. Let me see if this is big enough. or skinny enough to fit back there, hopefully. Without showing too much. Hey, look at that. Okay, cool. And then, oopsie, a little glue on this side where it's touching the image, because the image is a little bit raised up, you know. And then this guy. Nope. Right now I'm making a lot of handcraft items, including a lot of those Trader Joe bags. Should I put that? I kind of like the way it looked there, but maybe here. And then with some patches on them, so that'd be cute to accompany a little card with it, you know, if you're gifting it. So I made this for you. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Again, this is the tabbed collection by Wendy Vecchi that they just came out with there on Scrapbook. If it's available on Scrapbook, on Spellbinders, I was gonna say it's available on Scrapbook. I'll link that too. But thanks for watching, guys. Images coming up. The links is available in the description box, and I will see you all at the next one. Bye now. So cool.